Hey everyone, Boss Bapak here. I'm going to give an update now on my scotches, wines, and cigars. Just a little bit of something for tonight. The Il Fauno, the '08 Arcanum, is actually a gift that I'm giving to somebody. It's a lovely little Italian Super Tuscan at a very reasonable price. But for dinner tonight, I'm opening this 2006 Sossetti Alivio for the Pertamali, which is a Brunello, a wonderful Brunello. It's my last bottle of the '06, and we'll see how that goes. So with no further ado, I'm going to take you guys into the cellar, and we'll have a look and just see what I've been doing. So on the Scotch side of things, I've actually been really into the Macallan's double casks of late, and so I picked up a couple of things. I picked up this 18-year-old double cask. I really like the double cask. So Macallan has the virgin oak, the single cask, double cask, and triple cask. You can see right over there on the box whether it's virgin, single, double, or triple. The virgin oak is oak barrels that have never been used before, so the so-called first fill. Single cask is a cask that's been used from a first fill sherry, and then what they'll do is put it in one cask as they're aging the Scotch. Double cask means it goes from one cask to a second cask, and triple cask means the third cask is actually bourbon. So the first two casks sherry and the third one's bourbon. My favorite I've found is either the virgin oak or the double cask. So I picked up a bottle of the 18. I also picked up a bottle of the 15-year-old, which I've tasted but never bought, and so I'm really looking forward. Sorry about that. I'm looking forward to that. And I also just picked up a bottle of the Glenmorangie, the 18-year-old, which is a phenomenal Scotch. So I'm looking forward to. I actually have the 1996, which I think was a 23-year-old bottle of Scotch. But I've got the 18-year-old, which is actually a fairly inexpensive but wonderful, in my opinion, probably the best value for money Scotch, 18-year-old Scotch in the market. So that's on the Scotch side. In terms of wine, one of my favorites, I just picked up 3 bottles of the Cedar Creek, a wonderful bottle of wine from Columbia Valley in Washington State. This is the 40-year anniversary of this particular wine. Obviously, the Cedar Creek, the Columbia Valley is the flagship. Incredible wine. It's had so many years that it were 100 points rated by Robert Parker. This is 100 points by, I think it was Decanter, and then 98 points by Parker and a bunch of others. But when you're getting up into sort of the 98, 99, 100 points, these really are phenomenal wines and really long shelf life. As I've showed you guys, so that's the 18, the current vintage. As I've showed you before, I have the 2007, which is probably drinking beautifully right now. And over the next couple of years, I will try that. A couple of other things that I've been buying. Actually, I picked up this guy, which is really good. I tried it and liked it. I don't often buy Duckhorn, other than I really like the Three Palms Vineyard, which I've showed you guys before. But the cab, the 2018 cab, I've got a couple bottles of that, and that's a real beaut. So I'm looking forward to trying that. So that'll be for the future. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything new. If it springs to mind, I will let you all know. The other big acquisitions I've been doing have been on the cigar front. So what I've most recently acquired, a couple things. The 1935, the Monte Cristo, the 1935 anniversary. I bought a box of 10 of these, which is the 52 ring gauge, the torpedoes. These, I believe, are the number 2s. Beautiful cigar. I tried one at a cigar bar and really thoroughly enjoyed it. So I picked up 10 of those. Let's see if I can open this guy while actually holding the camera. Not easy to do. Let's see if we can do that over here. Yeah, maybe. Let's take a look here. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the old Tapadors. That's how I like to store my cigars. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Maduro wrapper. Well, actually, is this connected broadleaf? I haven't looked into it in enough detail other than just trying a couple of these, but delicious cigars, just really incredible. 52 ring gauges. So I've got a box of those. Looking forward to those guys. And just as a point of what I'm going to be doing as a sort of an experiment is, right now I have 69% Boveda packs in all my humidors, my tubadors. I'm going to actually move to 65. An experiment I'm planning to do in the summer, and so I'll let you guys know a little bit about the results of that. We'll follow that a little bit and see how that goes. Another thing I'm really into these days is foundation cigars. So I've really been enjoying my foundation cigar sticks, and I bought a few boxes recently. I bought the Havana Seed, a gorgeous cigar. Really enjoying these. I believe this was a 52 ring gauge, or maybe it could have been a 54. I think it's a 52 ring gauge. There's the box up there. It's the Tabernacle, the Havana Seed C142, CT142, which I believe the CT is for Connecticut broadleaf, but again, not 100% sure of that. I've tried a couple of these. They're absolutely gorgeous. So I bought a box of those. I also bought a box of the Wawense. This is the 50 ring gauge. I like 50 to sort of 54 ring gauge, actually 48 to 54. I don't love the hue, so it depends because it's all different, but I just like a larger proportion of wrapper to binder and filler, because for me, most of the flavors in those wrappers. And so if you get too large and you diluting the wrapper in relation to the binders and fillers, it's just, you're just not getting what you're paying for, which is, and you really are, 75% of your dollar goes towards this beautiful wrap on the outside. So the Wawense is another lovely one, which I've been smoking lately. Thoroughly enjoy it. I'm gonna put this back on here, folks. So that was really good. Couple of other things I'll show you now. I also bought, still along the foundation cigar line. I might have showed you this before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself here, but I was getting pretty low on my 50 ring gauge Wise Man Maduros. Great stick, absolutely wonderful stick. And I went and I bought a box of the 56s. So there's the box up there, the Toro size of the Wise Man Maduro by Foundation Cigars. This is an example of a bigger ring gauge that's absolutely phenomenal. And actually, because I find the wrap on this is so overpowering, that on this particular cigar, having the larger ring gauge and maybe somewhat reducing the ratio of wrapper to filler binder in this one does really, really well. I must say, I'm finding that I'm tasting the flavors of the typical Wise Man Maduro flavors far better on the 56 than I was on the 50 ring gauge. So there's an example of where the bigger ring gauge actually does quite well. So there's that. Give me a second while I close this, guys. And then what I also have is a couple of other items. You've seen this all before. This is my Father collection here. I really like the Judge, which I have a bunch of. The Opulencia is lovely, and of course the Le Bijou. And I feel like something with a bit of a nicotine hit. I find the 1922 Le Bijou far stronger from a nicotine point of view across the range of the My Father cigars. And I find the Judge is actually my favorite one. Another example of a 60 ring gauge where the proportion of wrapper to filler binder is actually quite well balanced. So this is something else I bought. I bought a few boxes of Padron. And most importantly, what I've added to my collection, so this is the family reserves. As you guys know, I love the 46 and the 54. I only had the Maduros in the 46. I just bought a box of the naturals, and I got to say, loving them, just beautiful. What a gorgeous stick. incredible tobacco, aged 10 years, the family reserves, as you all know. So beautiful tobacco. And I bought a box of those to go with my Maduros, which I have a bunch of. And the other one I absolutely love and I didn't have and just replenished was the anniversary series, the 1964 anniversary series in the Imperial, which is the 54 by 6 inch, I believe it is. A beautiful box press, and another cigar that I just absolutely can't get enough of. Just delicious. So highly recommend that. So I picked up a box of those. And that, guys, that's pretty much what I've been doing on the cigar front, and the wine and Scotch side. I think I'm probably forgetting. Actually, let me show you one bottle which I just picked. I think one left. I had a couple of them which I can highly recommend. The Sexton Vineyard in Australia. It's in the Yarra Valley. If you guys like Chardonnay by Giant Steps, their Sexton Vineyard is phenomenal. Hard to find. I picked up 3 bottles, went through 2 of them. Of course, the Australian screw cap, as most Australian wines are today, even the expensive ones. But I would highly recommend this particular Chardonnay. I picked up a few bottles. As I say, I got 1 bottle left, which I'll probably age for a little bit and see what happens there. But great wine. Really enjoyed that. Can't recommend that enough. So thanks everyone, and I will be in touch again soon. Ciao.